What is not kindness? Kindness is often understood as being gentle, considerate, helpful, and compassionate toward another person. Yet perhaps kindness becomes clearer when we ask a more difficult question. What is not kindness? From a hermeneutic, phenomenological perspective, kindness is not simply something we do. It is something experienced within the relationship between persons. It concerns the way another person is seen, understood, and received. Thus, an act may appear kind externally, while, in its deeper meaning, it may not be kindness at all. Kindness is not people-pleasing. A person may say yes to everything, constantly accommodate others, or avoid confrontation because they are afraid of rejection. But this may have less to do with genuine kindness and more to do with the desire to be accepted. When kindness becomes a desperate attempt to be liked, the relationship becomes distorted. I will be good to you so that you will accept me. Kindness is not indulgence. To give another person everything they ask for is not necessarily to be kind to them. Sometimes a request reveals not only what a person wants, but how they perceive the person from whom they are asking. When someone asks for something without considering the inconvenience, sacrifice, time, energy, or limitations it places upon another, the request can quietly become an expectation. There is something deeply unkind about treating another person's generosity as an unlimited resource. Kindness, therefore, includes consideration. It asks not only, can you do this for me, but also, what does this ask of you? A genuine relationship recognizes that the other person has limits, responsibilities, needs, and a life of their own. This is why saying no can sometimes be an act of kindness. A sincere no can protect a relationship from becoming one-sided, entitled, or dependent. It reminds both persons that love does not mean that one person's wants automatically become another person's obligations. True kindness does not erase boundaries, it respects them. Kindness is also not silence in the face of wrongdoing. Sometimes we avoid difficult conversations because we do not want to hurt someone, but silence can sometimes permit harm to continue. There are moments when telling someone the truth, even when it is uncomfortable, is more loving than telling them what they want to hear. Kindness may require courage. Kindness is not condescension. There is a difference between helping someone and looking down on someone. When we help another while secretly considering ourselves superior, the gesture may look generous but lacks the dignity of genuine kindness. True kindness does not say, "You are beneath me, so I will help you." It says, "You are a person of equal dignity, and I will stand with you." Kindness is not performative goodness. In a world where good deeds can easily be photographed, posted, and praised, we must ask whether our kindness remains when nobody is watching. If our goodness depends upon recognition, perhaps what we seek is not simply the good of another, but affirmation of ourselves as a good person. Kindness is not the absence of truth. Genuine kindness does not require us to abandon truth. Rather, it asks how truth can be spoken without destroying the person who needs to hear it. Truth without love can become cruelty, but kindness without truth can become deception. Mature kindness holds both together. Hermeneutically, therefore, the meaning of kindness cannot be separated from intention, relationship, and lived experience. The same action can carry very different meanings. Giving can be generosity, but it can also be manipulation. Silence can be compassion, but it can also be cowardice. Correction can be cruelty, but it can also be love. Saying yes can be kindness, but sometimes saying no is the greater act of love. Perhaps this is why kindness is much more difficult than simply being nice. To be kind is not merely to make another person feel good. It is to encounter the other as a person whose dignity matters. It requires us to move beyond our own need to be appreciated, admired, or accepted. It asks us to consider the other without making ourselves disappear in the process. And perhaps we should ask not merely, was I nice to this person, but rather, did I recognize this person as a person? And equally important, did I allow myself to remain a person in the relationship? Because kindness cannot require the destruction of one person for the comfort of another. Kindness is not weakness. Kindness is not cowardice. Kindness is not people-pleasing. Kindness is not indulgence. Kindness is not entitlement. Kindness is not superiority. Kindness is not silence when truth is necessary. Kindness is not goodness performed for recognition. Kindness becomes genuine, is freed from the need to possess, control, impress, or be rewarded. Perhaps the deepest hermeneutic insight is this: kindness is not primarily about what I do for another person, but about how I choose to see the other person. And if I truly see the other as a person, I must also allow myself to be seen as one, a person with limits, a person with responsibility. I'm tired, a person who can say no, a person whose generosity should never be presumed upon. Sometimes, therefore, the kindest thing we can do is give. Sometimes it is to listen. Sometimes it is to tell the truth. And sometimes, perhaps most difficult of all, it is to say no without hatred and to accept another person's no without resentment. Because true kindness does not make one person smaller so that another can have more. It allows both persons to remain fully human.